Hello, everyone. In case you don't know me, my name's Billy Bauer. I'm one of the pastors here on the staff at Loveland Church. And I wanted to say hello. It's been a long time since I've seen many of you. And I miss seeing you each Sunday morning as you come in to find your seats to participate in the worship service. I miss hearing your stories and about your family and what's going on in your lives. Thankfully, it looks like it won't be much longer before we're able to resume that. But in the meantime, I wanted to answer a question. And it's a question that has been asked of our leaders multiple times by multiple people. It's not a Bible question, and it's not a question about the pandemic. It's not even a question about relationships or things that we need to do to be better at following Jesus. It's a question pastors have been calling to ask, and members of other churches have been asking, and even our own members have been asking. And it's this: how is Loveland doing financially? And the question kind of goes like this. Churches all around are struggling. They haven't been able to meet. Their income is down. And they're having a hard time. Some are even suffering, laying off staff, or closing their doors completely. How is Loveland doing? And I want to tell you, and I tell you this as humbly as I possibly can, God has been truly blessing Loveland during this pandemic in every way. But one of those ways is in finances. The people of Loveland Church have been so faithful in their giving that our income hasn't dipped hardly at all. We were talking about it in the pastors' meeting the other day, and we were kind of scratching our heads like, what's going on? Why is God doing this right now? When so many churches around us are having such a hard time, why is Loveland in such a good position? Why are the blessings of God seemingly on us during this moment? And we started wondering, are we doing something that other churches aren't doing? And as we looked at it, wow, a lot of churches that are struggling are doing live streaming. And thank God for this, as you've heard Pastor Chuck say, we're doing it better than we were doing it before, but other churches are doing it well. So it really isn't that. Although you got to admit, Pastor Chuck's been really preaching. I mean, he's taken it up a notch during this pandemic. I heard you say amen. But we've been wondering, why is Loveland in this unique position during this pandemic? And the more we discussed it, the more we began to realize that Loveland really hasn't changed in the last 2.5 months. So it's not something new that's happening. It's something that's been continuing to happen. Anyone that's been to Loveland or that has been to Loveland for any period of time knows that Pastor Chuck has been incredibly faithful in teaching us about giving and teaching us about our finances and our stewardship and generosity and what it means to honor God with our substance. That's been a message Loveland's been teaching for 40 years. And we're seeing the fruit of it right now. And so I'm not trying to minimize what God is doing, but I do want to lift you up and let you know that we know what you're doing during this pandemic. That when it's easy to become afraid and to close your wallet and your pocketbook and your bank account, that you have said, no, I'm going to be faithful to God because He's been faithful to me. And I know that when I give my tithes and when I give my offerings and when I'm generous from my heart, that God blesses that God honors that. And so I have to do it. I have to give. I can't not give. Even if things are hard, I have to give. I called Mom Christine White. If you know Mom Christine, she's in her 90s and she lives alone. And I don't know all of her personal business, but I'm guessing she's on a fixed income. And so I called her just to see how she's doing. And so I said, Mom Christine, how are things? And she said, oh, everything is great. She said, but here's one thing. I haven't been out of my house in 6 weeks, and I want to know, when is someone coming to pick up my tithes? And I was like, what? And she said, when is someone going to come pick up my tithes? Here she is in her 90s, living alone, taking care of herself, on a fixed income, and her biggest concern is, when is someone going to come pick up my tithes? Can you believe that? That kind of faith is amazing. And that kind of faith comes from years and years of teaching, years and years of praying, years and years of experiencing God's faithfulness to the point where you say, I can't not give no matter how difficult things are. And I just want to say to Loveland Church, thank you so much. God's been faithful to you, and you're being faithful to Him. And it's not to keep the church going, although your gifts do. It's because you love Him and He's shown Himself faithful, and you have to give. Loveland Church, God bless you, and thank you so much for what you're doing.